Hey, and welcome to this week's blog post. Today I'm going to be discussing counter-nutation and nutation of the sacrum, and you might know these words as tucking and arching of the low back. So I want to start by explaining our different pelvic positions. So in the world, we have an anterior pelvic tilt. An anterior tilt involves creating a slight arch on my low back. All right, and then on the other side of the coin, we have a posterior tilt. And a posterior tilt is when I'm scooped underneath, okay? So my low back is kind of curling under. Now, the reason I wanted to make this video is I work with a lot of athletes and generally a lot of my clients and people that I see moving in the world. It seems like a lot of us are frozen or we're stuck in this posteriorly tilted position. And I want to talk about a little bit how we can self-correct this to get better performance results, more flexibility, more strength, and a little bit more length in our bodies. Now, to help demonstrate the differences of the positions of the pelvis, I brought in my spine today. All right, and I just wanted to go over real quick what we'll be talking about. So a nutated sacrum is going to look like this. So you have a slight arch in the low back, all right? And then a counter-nutated sacrum is going to be when the sacrum tucks under like this. This is known as the tuck in the world of weightlifting, sport, and yoga. So today I want to go over a couple of exercises that are going to help you create a little bit more of an arch on your low back, and that's going to actually help you to create a little bit more length and strength in your spine. Now, real quick, this is our sacrum, and the sacrum is 5 fused vertebrae that makes up 1/3 of your pelvis, and it's also the base of your spine, okay? You have an ilium on each side of your pelvis, so these are your hip pointers, and then the sacrum is at the center of the back of the pelvis. Okay, so that's essentially what we're going to talk about today, and what I've noticed is that if we want to have better glute activation, if we want to create more length in our hip flexors, and we want to learn how to produce more force and power transmission throughout our bodies, it is essential that we create a healthy arch on our low back. So I'm going to take us through 3 progressions of self-tests that you can do yourself to kind of determine where your arch is at, to see where your body is, and then you can figure out how to strengthen the position, correct it, and then hopefully this will start this snowball effect of a lot of improvements in like flexibility, balance, stability, and strength in other parts of your body. So the first thing I want to do, it's just called a hip hinge at the wall. So I'm on the wall, and all I'm going to do is I bring my hands to my chest, and I'm just going to hinge forward. I keep my shins vertical, and I want to feel like I am creating this arch on my low back, and then I come up, and that's it. The second that you feel like you're tucking under, and when you go, your back starts to round, okay? I want you to stand up, start your pelvis over by anteriorly tilting, put your butt on the wall, and just correct the movement. So you go forward, I lift my arms up, and down. That's all I'm doing. And what I'm trying to do again is I'm trying to create this length on my low back. And that's actually going to give me access to a lot more of my abdominals below my belly button. Okay, so we'll call these like deep core muscles and hip flexors. Now, a way you can progress this, if you're looking to strengthen this position, all I want you to do is with a kettlebell between your feet, you go forward, you keep your butt on the wall, you create that arch, and then you engage the stomach, and then all you're going to do is you come up in one piece. That's it. So I take an inhale, and the whole time I'm doing my best to create the arch and prevent any rounding from happening, all right? I also think it's important to note that whenever you create an arch in your back, you don't want it to be excessive. An excessive arch can actually lead to disc irritation in the back. So once you create a little bit of an arch, you want to engage that abdominal section without tucking under, okay? So that's the first exercise. Second exercise is just going to be a goblet squat with a slow descent. So typically I see people squat, and as soon as they hit parallel, their butt, it winks under, okay? So, you know, the people just, they bounce out, and essentially that means you're losing all activation and engagement of the core muscles, and you're shortening your low back, because when you get to that bottom position of the squat, so it's like you're squatting, and then your butt tucks at the last second, all right? And this throws off, it throws off a lot of mechanics in your body, but in particularly, it's going to affect your hip flexors long term. So to correct this in a squat, all I want you to do is take a kettlebell, all right? You're going to look at the bottom of the kettlebell. You take an inhale, keep your core braced. You're going to do 5 seconds down. 2, 3, 4, 5, and hold, creating that arch. The second you feel this start to happen, I want you to stand up, reset. And it's the same thing. As you descend into the squat, if it starts to happen early, pause, create that arch, engage your abs, and stand up. One more time, inhale. And rest. So, the last piece here is it's like a flexibility test. All I want you to do is you get down on the ground, okay? And you want to see if you can sit tall with a good arch on your low back. That's it. Now, if you struggle to do this and you're kind of rounded back, you can't reach your feet, I just want you to take some blocks or pillows. You get them underneath your butt, specifically your sit bones, and you just see if you can create an arch from there. And that's all we're going for. I want you to teach your brain, to teach your body how to create an arch so that you're able to lift off of your hips, and that's it. So if you're still here, it might be a sign that your pelvis is stuck. Your sacrum is stuck in this, it's called counter nutation. So it's constantly, it's frozen in this rounded state. And it might be from a lot of different things. Just overuse of the muscles that pull you under, lack of awareness of what's going on with the sacrum. And in general, we don't talk too much about counter nutation and nutation. And in a lot of athletics, coaches and trainers are telling people to tuck. And what I want to say to you is you want to get rid of the tuck. You are going to have better glute activation, glute access, and you'll also be able to develop a longer, stronger spine and low back if you start to teach yourself how to anteriorly tilt and create an arch. So that's the takeaway today. I want you to practice these tests. If you notice you are counter-nutating, if you are tucking under, all right, these exercises are going to help you to actually learn how to engage the spine muscles around your low back and develop that hip hinge and that length in the hip flexors, which is so crucial for force transfer, power development, and an increase in strength and flexibility. If you're somebody that sits at a desk 5 to 8 hours a day or sits in a car 5 to 8 hours a day, I would definitely recommend these exercises. That way you're not constantly sitting on your tailbone, sitting on your sacrum, and reinforcing a bad pattern that doesn't have sustainability. okay? It's going to be harder, but you want to create that arch, all right? So that's the takeaway today. I hope you enjoyed the blog post. As usual, send me any emails or questions you have. This is really important, and I want you to start to understand how to create that length and strength of your low back by creating a slight arch and a little bit of an anterior pelvic tilt. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.